Hello, this is Victor, and I'm continuing analyzing the Space Marine Codex, and this time I would like to compare three different units from the heavy support that can do very similar role on the battlefield. And these three units will be the Predator, the Devastators, and the Centurions Devastators. These three units can have quite different ways to be equipped, but I will compare two different configurations. First, I will compare the anti-tank or anti-vehicle configuration, and then I will compare the anti-infantry configuration. So starting with the anti-vehicle configuration, what we find here. So to have very similar shooting power, we can have two units of Devastators, one full laser and one full missile, and then all the points will cost 280 points for the two units. Then we can have 4 Centurions Devastators with less cannon and missile launcher, and this will cost 360 points. And we can have 2 Predators full laser for 280 points. As you can see, by far the most expensive unit are the 4 Centurions. So for the cost of 4 Centurions, we can have 2 units of Devastators or 2 Predators, and we have 80 additional points with a very similar shooting power. So now we have to see if the Centurions are really better and are paying back these 80 additional points that you pay for the 4 Centurions compared to the other units. So if we look at the shooting of the Centurions are a little bit better because they have the last cannons twin link, making them more precise. On the other side, Predator also have twin link last cannons, but have less cannons and don't have or have less shooting power because they have less weapons. 3 Predators will have 6 last cannons to twin link. But on the other side, they have the flexibility of shooting at different targets. So in case, for example, you're shooting a light vehicle and you destroy one light vehicle with one of the Predators, you can shoot the Predator to a different unit. So the Centurions don't have this ability. The same for the Devastators. Maybe they are the less precise, they don't have any twin link weapon, but they can have 2 weapons at weapon skill 5 instead of 4. So the 3 units or the 3 comparisons have very similar shooting power. They can have the ability of destroying light vehicles very easily at long distance. They will have more problems to destroy heavy vehicles, because for heavy vehicles, multi-melta or melta will be the most efficient way to do it, or close combat. So here we see that they are not really different in terms of shooting, because they have the same weapons as the Devastators. The only difference is that they are twin links, so they will be more precise. In average, they will hit once more with the last cannons. If we make a look now to the anti-infantry configurations, so we can have 2 units of Devastators with heavy bolters, all full equipped with heavy bolters by 220 points for the 2 units. We can have 4 Centurions Devastators by 250 points, or we can have 2 Predators Devastators, Destroyer by 190 points, the 2 Predators, because it's equipped with autocannon and heavy bolters on the sponsors. If we look at the shooting power against infantry, we can see that the Centurions are the best shooting at toughness 3 and 4. So Hurricane Bolter are especially good against infantry. If you want to excel in the shooting, you have to be below 12 inches, where you can use rapid fire against infantry, but this is putting the unit very close to your opponent. Then Devastators are doing pretty good job, and because you have 2 squads, you also can split fire between 2 units. On the other side, the Devastators always have the same drawback. They are static, and if they start moving, they lose a lot of the precision in the shooting. So this will go in favor of the Centurions, that they can move and shoot. But when we're looking to infantry that have toughness 5 or higher, then is where Predator is better than the other 2. So Predator is not as good as the others against toughness 3 and 4, but start being better than the others when we start looking at toughness 5, 6 or 7. And on top of that, Predator have the ability to destroy light vehicles with the autocannon. So summarizing, Centurions are the best against light infantry, but Predator is giving more flexible, and is giving also some mobility because they can move and still shoot the main weapon. But we don't have to forget one of the points where the Centurions can excel, and is the resistance to the opponent shooting. So here in the next tables, you will see if the points you're paying for the Centurions are paid back in terms of resistance, because we have observed that in shooting they are not excelling that much against Devastators, except that the Devastators have to be static while the Centurions can still move and shoot because they are realms. So if we look at the resistance to opponent shooting, we see that when it's light weapons, the best is the Predator. So Predator cannot be damaged for any weapon that is at strength 6 or less, because the front armor is 13. So for light shooting, the Predator is the one that will resist the better. But if we look at the Centurions, we also observe that they are very good in resisting this type of shooting. So you only have 3% of probabilities of losing a Predator when you're receiving a shot from a last gun. Or if we look for Bolter, you have 6% of losing a Centurion when you receive a hit. While if we look at the Devastators, they have 17% of losing a Devastator for each hit you receive. So the difference is more than 3 times less for the Centurions, so they are more resistant. The problem comes when we look at weapons at higher value or at higher strength. So if we look at the next table, we can see that Centurions are still resisting much better than the Devastators in a factor 2 to 1 weapons of high strength. And in some cases it's better because when it's weapons that have AP3, Devastators are killed much easily than Centurions. But this difference can be diluted very easily when you start having cover. So when you start having cover, this difference is not going to be higher. And when we look at weapons of strength 7, 8, 9 with AP2 or 1, for example, multi-melta, las cannons, plasma, the difference between Centurions and Devastators is not there, because most have the same possibilities to receive a wound. So plasma is wounding as easy as to the Devastators as the Centurions. Then, if we look at the Predator, the Predator can resist much easily, or is more resistant than any of these units. As you see, the percentages of receiving or losing a hull point normally is the percentage is lower, and we have to compare in weapons of AP2 or 1, because when we go to higher strength like 8, 9 or 10, normally the weapons have AP2 or AP1. There is very little exceptions in the weapons. But on the other side, if you look at the table that I have at the top of the slide, you will observe that the Predator have probabilities to be killed in one shot. These probabilities have dropped dramatically since the new table, or the new damage table that we have in 7th edition. As you will see, in the worst case, where we are shot by a weapon of strength 10 and AP1, the probability is not that high. It's less than 20% of being killed in one shot. We also have to take into consideration that if we receive a wound of a weapon strength 10 AP1 in a Centurion, we will lose a full Centurion. Doesn't matter that they have 2 wounds, because we'll instant kill him. Also, we have to take into account that the vehicle can lose a weapon, but each time that you receive a casualty on Centurions, on Devastators, you start losing firing power. So normally the vehicles will resist much better the loss of hull points. So summarizing this, the unit that is giving the best value for the points it's costing, I think, is the Predator in any of the configurations. Especially with the new damage table for vehicles, where you cannot be killed if the weapon is have AP3 or higher. And even with AP2, there is only 1 of 6 that you can be destroyed if you have a pen hit. Even having a penetrating hit on a predator is not that easy if you have your predator well positioned in the battlefield, giving the front armor to your enemies. So the only drawback on the predator is that if they are very vulnerable to flank attacks and also to assaulting. So if we look at the assaulting, then the best unit to resist an assault are the Centurions, thanks to the high toughness and the high value on armor or the armor 2. They should be able to resist and even to win some assaults. Also, we have to see that Centurions have a very good shooting power, but Devastators can have very similar shooting power by less points. And this difference of points can be used to even include a Razorback that then will unbalance the balance in favor of the Devastators. So Centurions are very nice unit, but I don't think they are adding more value, or the points per value are better than Devastators or the Predator. So if I have to choose one of the three, I will go for the Predators. And that's all what I want to share in that video. I hope you have find this useful, and if you have different opinion or you can give a different point of view, please put below in the comments what is your opinion, or if you think that I missed something in that analysis. So thanks a lot for watching this video. Subscribe, like it if you like it, comment below. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.